Hi, I'm Mike, PokeTips Mike, and this is it. So Sword and Shield are less than a week away from being released worldwide, and because we're so close to the game's release, data miners finally got their hands on Sword and Shield, and we're starting to learn some new information that the leaks didn't tell us. So by now, you've probably seen all those videos, read all those posts about the amount of Pokemon in Sword and Shield, and which Pokemon are returning. And before this information came out, all of that seemed correct. Now that we've gotten the Datamine's information out of the game itself, it looks like there's going to be 37 more Pokemon in Sword and Shield that we didn't know about at the time. Now, I think I should be fine talking about this. I'm not going to show any leaked Pokemon images or anything. I'm just going to be reading some tweets and some text, and also, I think this information is going to be really good for people to hear because it's going to get a lot of people more excited about the game. So let's go ahead and check out Kurt's Twitter over here. So Kurt Cafotix, if you don't already know, is one of the biggest and most well-known Pokemon data miners. We've gotten so much information from him before about other Pokemon games, and now it's time for Sword and Shield's information. So about an hour ago, Kurt tweeted out, "Many thanks to our anonymous data source for Sword and Shield. Datamine's info incoming soon." And then not too long after that, we got to see a huge new piece of information showing that there are 35 other species that have stats and models, so they're basically fully in the game and ready to go in Sword and Shield. So these 35 Pokemon are also going to be in Sword and Shield. Let's go ahead and click this link and check it out. So these 35 Pokemon were data mined. Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, Mewtwo, Mew, which we already knew about, Celebi, Jirachi, Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion, Reshiram, Zekrom, Kyurem, Keldeo, Rowlet, Dartrix, Decidueye, Litten, Torracat, Incineroar, Poplio, Brionne, Primarina, Cosmoem, I still don't know how to say that thing's name, Solgaleo, Lunala, Necrozma, Marshadow, Zeraora, Meltan, and Melmetal. So again, all 35 of these Pokemon have stats, models, everything that they need to be a fully fledged Pokemon programmed into Sword and Shield, so that means at some point, some way, somehow, some form, these Pokemon are planned to be in Sword and Shield. Now, this is some pretty awesome information to hear. I was so confused when we found out that Charizard made the cut, but Bulbasaur and Squirtle didn't. It's just kind of weird separating the trio, so it's good seeing that these guys are still in the game and still intended to be usable. Mewtwo makes a lot of sense, because why would you have Mew but not have Mewtwo? And I also like seeing some other legendaries in the game as well. I'm not going to go into specifics about this leaked information, but it seemed like before we didn't really have that many legendaries in Sword and Shield, so this really fixes that problem. And then seeing the Sun and Moon starters and some Sun and Moon legendaries and mythicals in the game too is very nice, since that was the last generation, so it kind of gives some compatibility there. Now, for obtaining these Pokemon, I'm assuming that a lot of them might be unlocked by max raid battles, but a lot of them could also come through Pokemon Home and be transfer exclusives. Another cool thing I could see them doing with a lot of these Pokemon is making them bosses of max raid battles. So we know when the game comes out, they're going to be doing a special Gigantamax Butterfree event where Gigantamax Butterfree is going to appear more often, but maybe throughout the game's release, they'll have like a special raid week, kind of like in Pokemon Go, where they'll feature legendary Pokemon like Reshiram and Zekrom, where you'll have a special week where those Pokemon are more likely to appear in raid battles. I think that would be a pretty cool and very hype way of giving you these Pokemon in those games. It would really make you feel like you earned these Pokemon. Now, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, I'm hoping they're easy to get in the game. I don't know how you get them yet, but I'm hoping they're not locked behind raid battles, because again, if you're giving us Charmander, Bulbasaur and Squirtle need to be easy to get to. Now, as for the rest of the Pokemon, Kurt said that Game Freak scrubbed all the other entries for species outside of the 435 Pokemon, but they forgot to change the max species ID in the code, which hints that there's 2 more mythical Pokemon that aren't actually in the game right now, but are planned to be obtainable in the future. So from his interpretation, it looks like we might be getting our first ever DLC Pokemon. I don't know, maybe the data's not in the game for them right now, which is why we don't know about them, and if so, that's kinda cool. Because as we all know, every new Pokemon game has its own mythical Pokemon, and if Game Freak finally found a way to keep the mythical Pokemon a real secret until they want to reveal them, that's awesome, and I'm so down for that. So my friends, that potentially means that we could be looking at 437 Pokemon in Sword and Shield instead of just 400. So 37 more species, 37 more Pokemon to play around with, and a lot of old favorites are returning like Bulbasaur and Squirtle. In the comments section, let me know if your favorite Pokemon made it into Sword and Shield or if it got cut. And if it didn't make it, well, you're not alone because one of my favorites, Cyndaquil, did not make it, and I'm kind of upset about that. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new for more amazing Pokemon content. Once Sword and Shield drop, oh, so many good videos coming. I've been working so hard behind the scenes on a lot of stuff that I can't wait to show you. Follow me on Instagram at PokeTips Mike, and my friends, I'll be seeing you in the next one.